legend, Zach Hilton. How you doing?
What's up? What's going on? How are you?
Nothing much, man. Doing well.
Nice.
Originally, we were supposed to do this at 8 o'clock, but first day back, NBA, LeBron James was playing. There's no way we're competing with LeBron James, so we had to push it back to 9.
Give me an update. What happened? I didn't get to watch it.
I don't know. There's like 2 minutes left, but
what?
This is more important. This is more important.
Yeah, they can come catch up with us after.
Yeah. So, for the folks that are here through Zach Hilton's Instagram and are probably wondering who the heck I am, my name is Josué Salgado. I'm born and raised in Gilroy, California, proud Gilroyan, UCSB graduate, and I will be starting a teaching credential at San Jose State in this fall. And for the folks that are here through my Instagram, they're probably wondering, who's this great-looking man? Well, this great-looking man is Zach Hilton. And Zach serves as a firefighter for the city of Oakland and is the current chair of the Bicycle Pedestrian Commission of the city of Gilroy. Now, Zach, before we get started, a couple days ago, you just celebrated your 13-year anniversary. So congratulations. And what's your secret?
Be a good listener.
Be a good listener?
Always remember to take care of your wife.
Yeah. All right, Zach, you ready to get started?
Let's do this.
Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to run for city council?
So Josué, thank you for having me. And just so everybody knows, so like you said, I'm a firefighter, paramedic for the city of Oakland. I've been doing that for the last 20 years. And for the last 4 years here in the city of Gilroy, I've been on the Bicycle Pedestrian Commission. Besides that, a little bit about me, just background. I'm a big bike guy. Oftentimes you'll see me riding my bike around the streets. I'll take it, when I want to go get some coffee, when I want to go down to Promised Land in downtown, when I want to go to the grocery store. And most importantly, too, teaching that to my daughter, who goes to a Roble Elementary here, teaching her how to walk and roll at school, make sure that passes on to the next generation. So for me, why I want to run for city council, having the opportunity to serve as on the Bike Ped Commission has given me an inside view of how politics work, how the infrastructure works in the city of Gilroy. And with that, I've been able to contribute to a lot of great things in the city, but I've also seen a lot of missed opportunities. And for me, sometimes watching those opportunities go away was very hard. I do know that sitting on the city council, that provides me the opportunity to be able to be that voice, that louder voice to make those good decisions for our city.
Right. So, Zach, what would you say is the single biggest challenge facing Gilroy today? And as a council member, what would you do to mitigate and address those challenges?
I believe that one of the biggest things that's hitting us today is housing for all. My slogan, Gilroy Livable for All, the first part that everybody needs is a home, a place that they call home. A home is different for everybody these days. When I was growing up, the thought of a home meant that, one day you'll be living in a single family home, a garage, maybe nice yards. That dream for everybody is hard to achieve these days in California. The cost of housing is so expensive. And we lack a credible amount of affordable housing for all types of incomes. Our numbers here in Gilroy are good in some categories that we're supposed to be achieving, but we are not projecting a loud voice to let developers know what specific type of housing that we need that's allocated to us regionally. So what we can do for that is that we can figure out exactly what type of housing we are missing and constantly promote it. As a city council member, I would constantly be promoting it, whether it's press releases or hanging out at conferences and groups. I would constantly be referring to what we need in housing and what we are looking for. So that can come with policies, but also any sitting city council member can promote that.
Right. Okay, so Zach, now let's talk a little bit about policing, one of the heavier topics that's been going on in the world. So like you, I support our local police personnel, and I respect the work that they do to protect the citizens of Gilroy. That said, when looking at the websites of some of the other candidates for city council such as Carol Marquez, Fred Tovar, and Danny Mitchell, there's an emphasis to fund the police, further increasing the presence of police. I could be wrong here, but public safety isn't just about funding the police, right? How is your agenda different from theirs?
So, no, you're correct. Safe communities for all is something that, that I'm proud of. It's something that I've been a part of in the city of Oakland for years now. And increasing, first of all, increasing the presence of police in neighborhoods is something that's not appropriate today. It's something that I would not support. And I have a feeling that uniformed officers here in Gilroy, who are here to protect and serve, and they do, agree that is just the presence of a uniformed officer's use of force is something that I'm sure they don't want to do. There are so many other things that we could fund right now. For instance, we could fund better education, better after-school programs, better tutoring. We can also fund better in crisis intervention, whether that means that we partner up with, Santa Clara County Public Health and get crisis intervention officers. In the city I work in, anytime there's some sort of domestic or psychiatric, any kind of emergency, there's a crisis intervention team that shows up. And I'm willing to bet that most of the officers that are here in this town would much rather have a licensed, clinician take care of a situation rather than have a uniformed police officer that does not have that type of training.
Right. No, yeah, Zach, and we spoke about this on the phone a couple weeks ago as well, how also better trained police officers, because of course there's a de-escalation, but there are times where for police officers stuff is going to have to get physical and they need to be properly trained. I would even say some sort of I don't want to say mixed martial arts because that takes a negative connotation, but such as like a grappling, whether it be jiu-jitsu or wrestling, so that when it does get physical, they're able to handle it physically, as opposed to when they're not capable, they go for their weapons, they go for a baton, they go for even worse, a gun, and that's when stuff really goes south, right?
Correct. And, so there's two really good policies out there that a lot of other departments have adopted, and that's a duty to intervene policy and a de-escalation policy. So a duty to intervene, to sum it up really fast, is basically means if me and you are officers on the street, you're the rookie, I'm the veteran. If you see me doing something incorrect or inappropriate, it is your duty to tell me that this is incorrect, to stop it, and to get the sergeant involved, get the upper, supervisor involved. That is something that is taught currently to new police officers. But as myself, a 20-year veteran, there's a lot of things that we're doing different in City Hall, on the fire service these days than we did 20 years ago. And sometimes it takes a written policy from the top down, adopted from the council down, for everyone to understand that these are clear policies you need to follow. The de-escalation policy is another huge one, and that's exactly what you were talking about. It's not going from the extreme, get out of the car, I need you to get out of the car, and then you're just irritated with the person because they don't want to get out of the car. For me as a firefighter, there's 4 of us that are on a fire engine. If one person's not getting along with, for whatever reason it is, with that patient, we have someone else that's going, you know what, let me handle this. I got this. Let's not take it to a level where you have to tell somebody, I'm the boss, you shall do this, you shall do that. We move back. And those are tools in the toolbox that are pretty simple to have. The other one, last one, is the carotid hold. That's completely inappropriate to be used as a way to subdue, and especially when we know that there's a chance that if someone's in a manic state, that and it specifically says this, if they're in a manic state, there is a chance that they might not come back from it. That's not okay. That's a lethal force. And I do not want to tell a police officer how to do their job or what should be lethal or non-lethal. But if you have something in your toolbox that there is even a chance that person's going to die from it, it's a lethal force.
Right. So, Zach, I want to switch gears here a little bit and discuss Gilroy's economy. Since I've been alive, I've never seen our economy take such a blow like it has during this whole COVID environment. Those candidates that I mentioned earlier, Fred Tovar, Carol Marquez, Danny Mitchell, are really pushing for revitalization of our downtown. Now, as a young person, I don't mind improving our downtown at all. But is that the answer to reestablishing our economy? What about businesses that are not in the downtown area? How is your platform different from theirs?
So I look at things on a holistic approach across the whole city. And I agree with you, man. Downtowns are cores. Downtowns, have been around for a long time. They're a gathering space. But downtowns are also neighborhood serving districts. And we are a large community now that's spread around the downtown. So for me, I might be able to walk downtown. I live pretty close to it, but it doesn't mean that I can't walk somewhere else as well. When we streamline business permits and make them, deemed complete upon submittal, and you can do that by creating a list of objective standards that you want as a city. City council would adopt that. That takes all the subjectivity out and allows a business to be able to open up really fast. That gets more money into our general fund. That also brings jobs really fast. But another thing is that we really need to look at is expanding two portions of our city. One is down by the sports park, and the other one is up by Gilroy Gardens. There's a lot of opportunity up there, and I'm more than willing to talk any more detail about stuff that's happening up at Gilroy Gardens and the sports park. But I do agree as more of a holistic approach across our city.
Right. So I know you kind of touched on housing a little bit before, but as you're aware, housing has become a huge crisis in the Bay Area in recent times, where many young working adults are unable to afford buying a home. As a Gilroy native like myself, with hopes of becoming a homeowner here in the future, what do you think City Council can do to help support those individuals like myself?
You know what? It's we have to be able to show you different areas. Well, first of all, we have to define home. Okay. Some people think that a home is, a house in the hills.
Right.
Some people at home think that a home is right there in downtown, where they can walk out of their townhome or their apartment, and they're socializing. One thing that we can do is we can really support as a city council and as a city is we can promote and support affordable housing bonds that are available through the state of California, and continuing with those programs. But another thing that some cities do that on their own property, is they actually build workforce housing. Okay, that's where you can take care of your city employees, but also you can branch that out. Some school districts even are building now for their teachers. Okay, and some places are even building affordable housing for the police officers. There's a lot of places that police officers will end up, rather than driving 2 hours home and trying to come back, they'll sleep in their cars for the next shift the next day. But for me, it's about the projection of policies, but it's to be able to show you the opportunities of all types of housing. And I'll be honest with you, and for you and your generation, you keep working hard, and things will advance. And sometimes it's savings, sometimes it's good luck, sometimes it's good jobs. But you know what? I wasn't just born into a home that I live in right now. I lived in a lot of apartments. I lived in condos. I've rented homes, and I slowly saved up enough money to get to the place where I am today.
Right. So I know you kind of mentioned this. Your main theme is a livable Gilroy for all. So as you know, we're headed for remote learning for our K through 12 youth. This affects parents. How will you address or support families during this time, especially the parents who may not be as computer literate as others?
You know what? I got an email yesterday from I believe it was the Santa Clara County, and they're looking for volunteers right now to be able to help exactly with that. For anybody that's in town that's able to understand technology and wants to volunteer that, for those parents that do not have those abilities. And I can tell you too that not only are they giving out Chromebooks, but they're also giving out hotspots to individuals. So what it sounds like to me is there's no longer going to be like a van or a truck or someplace you got to drive to a location to be able to get that. But we have a lot of really good community groups that are in our city that are helping the youth that are at risk. And, there's a lot we can do to support, to make sure that they don't fall behind. Back in March, I know there was a lot of kids that fell behind.
Right. So before I ask my next question, if you guys have any questions that you'd like for me to ask Zach, go ahead and submit them on the question icon below. And if we have time, we'll definitely get to that one. And this question actually came in from someone is, can you tell us a little bit about the Adventure Park proposal and how such a positive project can impact our local community as well as attract tourism to the city?
Sure. So last August, the city council got presented with an offer to develop the hillside behind Gilroy Gardens. Basically, section off an area that goes up to the hillside to connect with the Bay Area Ridge Trail and Santa Clara County Public Parks. And what that would do is that would not only create even a bigger destination for us. Visit Gilroy was behind it. Our Bike Ped Commission was behind it. And in fact, we received over 200 public comments in support of this project from people all over the state. A project like that on that scale will not only bring economic recovery. At this point, right now, what we're dealing with is that we're having a tough time. The tourism industry does not know where it stands right now. They are in a recovery mode, where they're no longer in a build mode, okay? There's an opportunity to develop portions of that land out there into something that will make us, like, that literally could be the one thing that puts us in an economic recovery. And not only provide jobs, because right now, Gilroy Gardens, that's one of our biggest employers for the youth. And if they're not being employed, or if there ends up being a bunch of houses back there, that's not going to help anybody at all for economic recovery. There's a board that's out there that manages the Gilroy Gardens. I have not seen any public reports coming out of them since they met with City Council in December. But I'm hoping that eventually we'll be able to hear a little bit more details about what's happening there.
So before I say this, Zach, I want to be very respectful of our council, and I just want to publicly say that I always respect the role of our civic leaders. I have the utmost respect for anyone who practically volunteers their time and takes the time from their work and personal life to make our community better. Now, I say this with the most respect, but sometimes it seems that our council can be out of touch. How will you interact with residents, and how will you continue to listen to their voices?
So you know what? I promise that your voice will be in my thoughts, but directly. And I'm talking like I'm not only will I have a newsletter, but I have social media, and I will do outreach to anybody that wants to seek it. I will be the extension of your voice. Most candidates will say all this stuff. They'll start a website. They'll start their own Facebook page, and then they disappears in December once they're elected. My platforms that I'm using right now, if you go to my website, that's basically what I've been using over the last 4 years. I raced bikes before I was in the Bike Ped Commission. I used to write race reports, but I started really getting into advocacy, and that ended up turning into my website. I just transferred a couple of titles on there, and it basically turned it into a candidate's website. But I'm not planning on leaving. I'm still planning on doing press releases, town halls, meet and greets. I'm super comfortable, as you can see, just going live on Instagram. If that means that I have to have a town hall once a week and get everybody's information, but also exchange it, I find a lot of times stuff gets blown out of proportion because there's too much time in between. But, I have a lot of good friends that can testify that, when it comes down to items being on the city council's agenda, even planning commission, that affect the way we live, I do my hardest to make sure that people know exactly how to do public comment. I'll never block anybody's public comment.
Yeah. Well, Zach, before I let you go, I'm going to go ahead and hit you with a rapid Q&A. So I'm asking you 5 questions, and in 3 words or less, unless you want to justify your answers, then you can go ahead and justify your answers. But before I get to this, for the folks watching, why should they vote for you as opposed to the other council members?
Why should they vote for me? You know what? I stand for working families, but I don't just say that. I am a working family. I'm young. I'm energetic. I like to take risk. As a firefighter, we make risk assessments all the time. And just because you make a risky assessment or you do something risky, it's because you're trying to grow. Let's talk about developing on the hillside of Gilroy Gardens. That's risky. Let's say the developer, we allow them to do it, and then they leave. Okay? Let's say they close up shop. Well, that doesn't mean that another developer won't come in and be able to take that. But to not do something, that is the part that I have the most trouble with. I am a doer. I am not a status quo person. I am all about changing the way that we make government look cool again, interactive again. I am seeking that from my current counsel right now, and I will bring that to you.
So, Zach, before I hit you with this rapid fire Q&A, can you tell the people where they can find you?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram here. You can see my handle at the top. I'm also on Facebook, and it's under the same handle, but there's no hashtag or there's no underscore, so it's Zach Hilton CA. I'm also on Twitter at the same handle that's here on Instagram, Zach Hilton _ CA. You can find all of that on my website, which is at www.zachhilton.com. And you could probably Google search my name as well, which I'm sure people are probably trying to do. Just don't associate me with the New Orleans Saints football player because I don't play football.
All right, Zach. So, who is the GOAT? And for the people that don't know what GOAT is, it stands for greatest of all time. Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Oh, dude, Jordan. I'm sorry, man. And you know what? You caught me at a perfect time, too, because we're watching the documentary right now about Jordan. You know what? And you know what? It all depends on how you grew up, right?
Yeah.
When I grew up playing basketball on the court as a kid after school, man, every time we hit that jump shot, I didn't say LeBron after. I shot it, and I said Jordan.
Right. So, Zach, if you could be part of any band in history, which would it be?
Pearl Jam.
Nice.
They last forever. They're still playing on tour. So, I had to have a consistent job for 30, 40 years.
So, if you had to get rid of one genre of music, which one would it be and why country? Just kidding. Just kidding. But which one would it be?
Oh, if I did get rid of one?
Yeah.
Man, I'm a well-rounded guy. I'm telling you. I mean, I don't know if my wife's still watching right now. I listen to 1940s junction music in the morning time sometimes. Man, if I had to get rid of one of them, that is a tough question. You're stumping me.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Folk music. I'm
Folk
out.
music? Okay.
Yeah, I can't get into it. I can't get the beats, man. My head doesn't start rocking. My daughter doesn't do it, so I'm sorry, man. Folk music, not my generation.
Yeah. All right, who wins in their prime, Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali?
Dude, Mike Tyson wants to fight again.
Yeah, I know, and he's looking good.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. All right, Zach, last question. $1 million or a full head of hair?
$1 million or a full head of hair. Man, give me the million. Give me the million, man. Yeah. I'll take it. I can still actually grow this out.
Yeah.
So I cut this when I was 18 years old because I was tired. I mentioned this last night in another Q&A. I was tired of waking up in the middle of the night as a new EMT, trying to be, looking like I'm all professional in front of a patient, and they're like, "Hey, man, your hair's doing all this," as a kid. So I cut it off.
All right, Zach. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're getting kind of old, and you're probably already tired, so I'm gonna have to let you go. But before I let you go, is there anything else you want to say to the folks watching?
You know what? All I want to say is number one, get out and vote. Your vote counts. And if there's one message I can pass along, is that if you need to know how to register to vote, or not sure if you are registered to vote where you live, send me a message, or send Josué a message. Send any of us a message that are on here. We'll get you that information. Okay. Number two is that I super enjoy doing this. If there's ever another time you guys want to do this, I'm all in. And that's it. Don't forget to vote for me.
All right. Thank you so much, Zach. Have a good night.
All right. Bye.